Hi everyone, it's Front Row Phyllis. In 2002, The Bachelor, a reality TV series, made its debut on ABC. Well, since then, there have been several spin-offs, including The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, The Golden Bachelor, and The Golden Bachelorette. And we are thrilled to welcome one of your favorites from season one of The Golden Bachelor, Susan Knowles. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is great. Hi,
This is
everybody.
Hi, this is awesome. So, you know, I kept thinking about this. Were you a huge Bachelor Nation fan before this?
No, I
What?
really wasn't. I mean, I've seen this show. I watched it a few times, and
Okay.
yeah, what happened was I was living in Philadelphia in the city, and my girlfriend called me one day and said, "Oh, you have to fill out this application." I said, "For what?" She said, "They're having an old people bachelor." I said, "What?"
You get the call, you're going to be on, and then how much time do you have to like pack up and what you're allowed to bring and all that?
So that's the funny part. You have to go through all kinds of interviews and background checks and things like this. I got the call mid-March, and I didn't find out I was definitely going
Right.
for like 2 weeks before. And I used to say to them, look, I am not one that can run out and buy gowns like in a minute. I'm a pain in the butt. I mean,
Right.
you give me some kind. He goes, well, I'm not allowed to say, but let's just say maybe you should put things on hold, you know? And I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Did they give you like an idea of like what wardrobe and what you need to bring?
There were the rose ceremonies, which
Right.
I knew were more formal.
Yeah.
And then day wear, swimsuits, sneakers, like we needed everything.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. And everything took place in California, right?
Mhm,
And
at
you
the
guys were out there for what, a couple months filming?
no, it wasn't that long. I made it to the fifth ceremony, rose ceremony, which is the one before the hometown started. So
Okay.
it was about 5 weeks, five rose ceremonies. So
Wow. Now, did you get a chance to look up Gary before going on the show? And
I found out when America found out who he was.
okay.
Yeah. And
And
I
then
was
did you do like
so,
some little digging and stuff like that?
no, I didn't bother. No.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Okay. You just wanted like the cards to fall where they may,
Yes,
right?
if it was meant to be, it would have been, you know.
Right.
But him
Right.
and I bonded very early on as friends. There wasn't a lot of chemistry as far
Okay.
as dating,
Yeah.
but I had his back for everything. Like
Yeah.
he would get emotional, and I'd be like, "It's okay, Gary, you got this," you know. Like we
Right.
were really good friends. And I asked him even after the show aired and it was done, and I said, "Why did you keep me so long?" He said,
Right.
"Listen, you were like my best friend there. You know, you
Oh.
had my back, and." Yeah, it was a great experience, and I made so many beautiful friendships.
Well, you really did, which is so interesting because, you watch the other versions, the Bachelor and Bachelorette, and they're definitely going at each other. They're younger, they're going at each other, they're, going
Yeah,
for whatever they can at that point.
I know.
But you guys all seem to really bond with each
And
other.
we were happy for each other if they had a one-on-one date. I mean, we're mature.
Right.
We've had life experiences. I have grandchildren, children, you know, it's like we
Right.
don't get all caught up like the young
Right.
ones do.
Now, speaking of that, your grandchildren, your children, what did they think when they first
My
saw you?
sons were a little, Mom, are you serious? And my daughter was my biggest supporter. She was
Oh,
fabulous. Yeah,
oh my
it was
God.
an experience.
That is incredible. And you're still close friends with quite a few of the
Yes,
women.
Kathy and I have a podcast, The Golden
Okay.
Hour on Bachelor Happy Hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do a lot together. And Nancy, and there's so many of them. I
Wow.
talk to pretty much everybody, but mostly our East Coast girls. Is Nancy lives right in Maryland, right outside of Washington, and
Okay.
yeah, and Teresa's up in North Jersey. I'm going to go spend a weekend with her this weekend.
That is so fun. Now, have the other women found new relationships or?
Not too many. I have,
I
but
know you have. You have, and you're like totally, I mean, so tell us more about him. I mean, I see him all over the place with you.
did you
And
just see the headlines that we're getting married? I mean,
no, I'm sure.
that was news to me. I mean,
I know. You're like, did you buy that ring? He's a good guy.
he's a great guy. Yes.
Oh.
Kathy and I were on vacation. I've been going to St. Martin for about 15 years.
Oh, okay.
I love it there. And
On the
Kathy,
French side or the Dutch side?
I always go to the French side.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were there. And one night I had an espresso martini after dinner.
Okay.
We got home. We did our girl talk. We washed our faces. She went upstairs to bed. I went in my bed and I couldn't sleep. So I was playing games on my computer and such. And I went, let me download Tinder. Let me see. And the first person I saw was him. I swiped and
Right.
I got off. And I didn't go back on for 3 days.
Wow.
So when I did, he had messaged me. And yeah, we took a photo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now he lives
In
someplace.
St. Martin.
Okay, he lives in St. Martin. So is it hard to have this relationship?
A little bit, yeah. It's a
Yeah,
long distance, and we
it's
see a lot of
definitely.
each other.
Yeah.
He's from France, and he's been in
Mhm.
St. Martin 10 years.
Okay.
I met his children. He's actually coming up here early July to meet my family.
So it is definitely possible to fall in love. And it doesn't matter where you're at,
I know,
right?
and that my message coming off the show was mainly towards women 60, 50, even 50 or 60. It's life is not over. I
Right.
call this my last chapter, if you will. Hopefully, it's a really long one.
Right, right,
But it's
exactly.
the best chapter because we're confident and we're true to ourselves at this point. You know what I
Right.
mean? And there's so many possibilities out there. You never know what's going to happen, whether it's in love, in business, in life, period.
Yeah,
Don't give up. Like keep on living.
right. And you also do weddings?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been officiating for 10 years. Yeah.
That. How did you get involved in that? That is the coolest
That's
thing.
a funny story. I was in a salon and my little assistant, she was my assistant for 9 years. I finally convinced her to get a license and she's a fabulous stylist now. And she met a woman. She was always with men, but she met a woman and she came to me in the salon and it sounded as if she was going to ask me to be in a wedding. And I'm 50 some years old and I'm dying inside. She goes, without you, I wouldn't be in hair. Without you, I'd never work at Curry. Without you, I, I and I'm like, uh-huh. She goes, will you marry us? I went, what? How do I do that? And then
Right.
I figured it out, and it was the first one, and I loved it. I
Wow.
absolutely loved it.
Is it the most incredible feeling?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's always happy,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Love is a beautiful thing,
Right.
and
Right.
people are always happy. I don't have to deal with the making the wedding happen. I just show up and I
Right.
interview them, and yeah,
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love your story. Our viewers love you. We'll hope to see you again on
yes.
some other
Something.
reality show. You never know.
I'm
Oh,
hoping Dancing with the Stars. I've been
okay.
playing with them for 2 years.
Okay. I think that you need to put a plug in. I think you need to text Val is what you need to do.
Yeah.
He's got
If
an
he
in
was
there.
the one, I would be in, but he's not.
Exactly. Oh, Susan, thank you again. Season
Absolutely.
two of The Golden Bachelor will be returning in the fall of 2025, and we can't wait.
Oh, it's so nice. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank
having me.
you. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Okay, baby. Bye bye. Bye.